Hello, this is Dr. Doolin, and we're going to be going over career assessments today. This is going to be from Hood, Chapter 7, and this chapter is about career and life planning, which is a very important developmental task. Involving in this process are attitudes toward career planning. Um, we can use cognitive measures to ferret out conflicts for clients in their career searches. In this process, you're going to hear about career beliefs, which are assumptions regarding career choice and development. Let me give you an example. When I was in high school for a summer, or for 4 summers, I should say, I worked in a pickle factory. And working in a pickle factory was extremely hard work. We worked 7 days a week during green season, and oftentimes 10 hours a day for 7 days a week. And what really struck me about the pickle factory was the lunchroom. We would go into the lunchroom. Some of these people had just resigned themselves to the fact that that's where they were going to end up living the rest of their lives or working the rest of their lives, in this pickle factory. And it was pretty depressing sort of scenario, and really pushed me for sure to want to be able to go to college and not have to be a part of that sort of job, where people were just basically waiting to retire and die. Um, Career concerns equals difficulty in resolving developmental or directional paths. For instance, I had one Asian student many years ago as a client who had unresolved and unconscious issues with school and career and her family. She was a very, very bright student, highly intelligent, but had some conflicts in that didn't want to just do what dad wanted her to do, but at the same time wanted to please dad and the family. So she had difficulty in resolving certain developmental and directional paths. The CBI is a measure, a career beliefs inventory by Krumboltz, 1991, is a Likert scale measuring 25 scales. Doesn't have a lot of good reliability and validity. However, this is an example of a useful test used to generate hypotheses or discussion or areas of therapeutic interest. In your book, um, there was an example by the name of Ted, who wanted to try to check out some things with his dad, and he was able to do so, and dad basically said, "No, Ted, I want you to do what you want to do." But one problem with that is, what happens if Ted was right, that dad didn't value Ted unless Ted was doing what he wanted? That's one of the problems about getting career beliefs out there, is that sometimes you're faced with the truth of things as well, and that can be frustrating for people. There's the career thoughts inventory, which assesses dysfunctional thinking with regards to career problem solving and decision making for adults, college students, and high school students. There's the measures of career concerns for students, such as My Vocational Situation, MVS, which targets problems of vocational identity, lack of information about careers, and environmental or personal obstacles. There's the career factors inventory, the CFI, and it measures that need for information. It measures your need for information. How much information do you need? And difficulty in making decisions. There's the career decision making difficulties questionnaire, the CDDQ, which discusses lack of readiness, lack of information, or inconsistent information. Remember, all these inventories are designed for specific types of problems associated with career counseling. Some of those problems have to do with people just not having the right kinds of information. Sometimes it has to do with other conflicts that they're having as well. There's the measure of career concerns for adults. Concerns for adults are often different from that of students. Why? Well, most people would say because your developmental needs change when you become adult than from a student. Oftentimes, as an adult learner, you have adult responsibilities. You may have kids. You probably have a spouse or a significant other, and oftentimes those concerns are different than those of younger students. There's the Adult Career Concerns Inventory, the ACCI, which assesses concerns at different stages of their development, clarifies the nature of developmental tasks, and has good construct validity. There's the Career Attitudes and Strategies Inventory, the CASI, C-A-S-I. It identifies and clarifies career problems confronted by adults. And the CASI has a good internal consistency around 0.80. There are career planning competencies, which focus on the cognitive aspects of career development, occupational knowledge, decision-making skills, employment-seeking skills. There's the CDMSE, which measures clients' perceptions of his or her ability to make effective career decisions, and measures belief in ability and or competency. This is based on self-efficacy theory, which essentially says, self-efficacy theory is essentially says if you believe you can do it, you probably will be able to do it. One of the best examples I can think of is one of my patients who was a pastor who lost his job because he ended up having an aphasia, brain aneurysm, and he had a little bit of paranoia. He also was a Vietnam vet. And so Jerry was suffering from depression, given the fact that he was not able to be a pastor anymore, but he had been able to forge his own ministry, a volunteer ministry, by going to hospitals and the like. But he was still having some problems with getting out, and he was starting to get fearful and becoming a little bit agoraphobic, kind of not wanting leaving the house very much. Well, one day it was snowing, and he had promised his son to take him to Big Bear to go skiing when the first snows hit. And he had no good reason not to want to do it except for the fact that he was afraid. And so, you know, I got him on the phone. His wife called me and said, you know, Jerry's going to kind of putz out on this, and he's going to really make our son angry and hurt. So I got him on the phone and I said, look, Jerry, if you believe you can do it, you can do it. You know how to drive. You know how to drive in the snow. You just have to push yourself to go do it. Well, that was a real turning point for Jerry, because he pushed himself to take his son up there, and he called me when he got to the top of the hill, top of the mountain, and said, you know, I did it. I climbed the mountain. I said, remember that, Jerry, because if you believe you can do something, you probably will be able to. And that self-efficacy was something he put at the center part of his therapy, to be able to push himself to be able to go up the hill. It's really important for people. They have to believe in themselves and what they're doing in order to be successful in life. So that's why that's such an important measure, I think. There's something called the vocational card sort, which sorts occupational titles into separate piles on the basis of similarity to each other. To make comparisons, name the attributes of the occupational piles they most resemble. This is a good problem-solving technique for people to sort occupations out for themselves. Now we talk about combined measures of career planning and attitudes and competencies. There are inventories measuring career maturity and adaptability. Maturity equals readiness to accomplish the career developmental task appropriate for his or her age. And adaptability equals emphasizes situational factors as well, and clients' readiness to cope with predictable and unpredictable aspects of career selection and participation. There is the Career Development Inventory, the CDI, by Donald Super. Donald Super, by the way, is a huge name in career counseling and is responsible for creating many different inventories and measures to help in career counseling. The CDI assesses the student's readiness to make sound educational and vocational choices. And then there's the Career Maturity Inventory, the CMI-R, and this is another big name in this field, John Crite. Measures career maturity, composed of a hierarchy of factors. He has a general maturity factor, it's kind of like the G factor in IQ, and career mastery inventory, the CMAS. It assesses career development like its adolescent counterpart, the CMI.